तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शांति 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 हरि Om. We were discussing the Advaitins' arguments against the arguments of the Mimamsakas. That even the Upanishadic statements which talk about realizing Brahman or contemplating on Brahman, they are also nothing but they are also ritualistic, they are also like karma, and so Brahman is an object of those rituals. Now, the same arguments are continuing. Tatra kinchit parinami nityam syat yasmin vikriyamane api tadeva idam iti buddhihi na vihanyate yatha prithivyaadi jagat nityatva vadinam yatha va sankhyanam gunaha idam tu paramarthikam kutastha nityam vyomavat sarvavyapi sarva vikriya rahitam nityatriptam niravayavam swayam jyoti swabhavam yatra dharma adharmo sah karyena kalatrayam cha na upavartate vartete tadetat ashariratvam mokshakyam अन्यत्र धर्मात् अन्यत्र अधर्मात् अन्यत्र अस्मात् कृत अकृतात् अन्यत्र भूतात् च भव्यात् च कठोपनिषद इत्यादि श्रुतिभिः अतः तद् ब्रह्म यस्य इयं जिज्ञासा प्रस्तुता यस्य इयं जिज्ञासा प्रस्तुता. So here another argument is being now put forth. It is being told that tatra kinchit parinami nityam syat. So now the idea is that in the last paragraph we saw that the nature of Atman is not having body, and all the rituals they talk about giving rise to happiness and misery, but this happiness and misery can be experienced only by the body. Happiness and misery can be experienced only by the body. So because the scriptures are talking about Brahman, that they are not, Brahman is not body, it is in the unembodied state, and so a person who realizes this Brahman, dhiraha na shochati, etc., that person does not grieve. So quoting Mundakopanishad, Brihadaranyukopanishad and Kathopanishad, it was proven that therefore, since Atman is not the body, and since only the body experiences the results of actions performed according to Vedic injunctions, so therefore the knowledge of Brahman or Atman is not brought about by performing rituals. Now, furthermore, the nature of Brahman is elaborated. A furthermore explanation is given. Tatra kinchit. So here what is being told? Here it is told Tatra means in that case kinchit, some. Tatra means among these. Among these means among the various things in the universe. Among the various things in the universe, or here it means ashariratva, means Atman. So tatra kinchit, among these things, these eternal things, parinami nityam syat. So in tatra, among these things, some they are parinami nityam. They are though parinami, though they undergo change, transformation, they are nityam. They are changeless. So apparently contradictory. So even though they are undergoing transformation, they are changeless. How can something undergo transformation and yet be changeless? So automatically we understand that there is something. We have to go deeper into this. Parinami nityam. So they change, but they are not changing. So this is from a particular reading. In another reading, it is Syat Yatha Yasmin. So here it is Syat. So among these eternal things, some things are changeless, even though they are changing. Yasmin vikriyamane api tadeva idam iti buddhihi na vihanyate. So about which we can say that vikriyamane api, that means even though it is subject to modification, even though it is subject to modification, tadeva idam iti buddhihi na vihanyate. This is that same, that knowledge is not vihanyate, not destroyed. So now you see here we can take many examples. Here also some examples are given. But in the beginning itself, the example which comes very close to our minds and which we can see in our lives is the example of this consciousness of I. So since birth you have got this consciousness of I, your body has changed, your appearance has changed, everything has changed, but still you know that this person whom you think was born on a particular day and time is the same person now also, continuing. So tadeva idam, tad eva idam, this is that alone, this is that. So this knowledge you have got, that is not destroyed. Though biology tells us that most cells are gone, almost all cells have gone, your appearance has changed, the dimensions of your body has changed, height has changed, weight has changed, everything has changed, knowledge has changed, but the idea that you are the same person is not changing. Is not changing. So similarly, there are many things. So this idea of I is eternal. Why? Because it is based on the uh, your true nature of Atman. Similarly, here the example given is, so this is something which is parinami, which is changing, but nityam, but it is changeless. So it is going some transformation, but in reality it is not changing. The inner nature or the true core nature is not changing. In fact, about the world also we can say this. The whole world as it appears is not true. And it appears to be changing, transforming. But in reality, what is the nature of the world? Brahman. Brahman is the nature of the world, universe, everything. So there is nothing but Brahman. But is Brahman changing? No, it is not changing. So it is Nityam, it is changeless, it is eternal. Similarly, so when that happens, even when there is modification, Vikriya Mane api, that idea, that knowledge, the cognition or the recognition that Tadeva idam, Tad eva idam, Tadeva idam, that this is that, this is that, that idea is not destroyed. So you have this clarity that though apparently these things are changing, in reality it is the same. It is the same. Okay. So for example, yatha prithivyadi jagat nityatva vadinam yatha va sankhyanam gunaha. So for example, so for the sake of giving example, Shankaracharya here is taking the standpoint of people who believe that the Jagat is Nitya. Jagat Nityatva Vadinam means of those who believe that this universe, Jagat means this universe, is real. Who believe that this universe is real. So according to them, Earth, so they know that the universe is real, but in Earth, Earth is real. According to them, universe is real. But in Earth, transformation is taking place. So though transformation is taking place, is Earth really transforming, changing? No. Because according to them, Earth is real. So that is changeless. So this you have to see from the perspective of people who believe that the universe is real. So for them, though apparently this earth is changing, but in reality it is not changing. Or in more modern context, we see a screen, we see a movie on the screen, but we all the time know that this movie, so many things are happening on the screen, okay, but we know that the screen is not changing. Or you go to a movie theater, watch a movie, and next time you go there, you see some other movie. You know that the theater is the same, but when you watch a movie, particularly with all the modern sound facilities, it's an immersive experience. Movie watching is an immersive experience. You become one with the movie because it draws you inside itself. Huge screen and that all that sound system and all that. So you are pulled into that system. Though you know very well that it is the same theater where you watched the earlier movie, and here there is a different movie, but you know that the theater is the same. So that is the idea, Parinami Nityam. Though apparently changing, but actually not changing. Another example is given. Yathava Sankhyanam Gunaha. So Sankhyanam means people who believe Sankhya philosophy. The Sankhya philosophy people, according to them, Gunaha, the properties, there are supposed to be some kind of number of properties are there. So according to them, those properties will not change. Though the property apparently you will see different manifestations of the property, but in reality the property is not changing. So the property according to Sankhya, these properties, they are supposed to be eternal. According to Sankhya, these properties are supposed to be eternal. So they are eternal and they are not going to change, but apparently their combinations or permutations are changing. This is according to the philosophy of Sankhya. So they are called guna. Gunaha, they will change. Okay, they will change. But in reality, because Sankhya people know that it is not going to change. So this idea of Parinami Nityam we have to understand. So this is what we have to understand. Okay. Then okay. Then we have, so this is one example given. But in reality, we have to see that this universe is based on this universe. The reason for this universe is Brahman. And though there is so much change we see in this universe, in reality, Brahman, as Brahman, this universe is not changing. Then, Kutastha Nityam, Paramarthikam, Kutastha Nityam, Vyomavat, Sarvavyapi, Sarvavikriyarahitam, Nityatriptam, Niravayavam, Swayam Jyotihi, Swabhavam, etc. So these are all attributes, so-called attributes of Brahman. Why am I saying so-called attributes of Brahman? Because Brahman has no attributes. But how to characterize, so that we can understand, this is how it is explained. What is this? Brahman. So what is Brahman? So here Brahman, idam tu, but this. Tu means in the sense of but. Idam means this. What are we talking about now? We were talking in the last paragraph, Shankaracharya was talking about unembodied state or moksha, the state of liberation or unembodied state. But that means your true nature. Once you know your true nature, that is what is unembodied state. What is that? Brahman. Brahman, Atman. Atman and Brahman are same, identical. So, what is that? How is it? What is its nature? Paramarthikam. It is Paramarthikam. It is absolute. Paramarthikam means it is absolute. There is nothing beyond that. That is the Parama. Anything which is Parama means supreme, absolute. That is called Paramarthikam. Then Kutastha. Kutastha means what? It is immutable. It is immutable. Immutable means it cannot be divided. Immutable means it cannot be divided. But Kutastha Nityam means it is immutably eternal. That means there is no, the only one thing which is eternal. We have to understand this. In certain philosophies, there are two things which are eternal. Some people will say that God is also eternal, universe is also eternal. That is what was told, Jagat Nityatva Vadi. So Jagat Nityatva Vadi means universe is also eternal, God is also eternal. But here it is not like that. Kutastha Nityam. So the Nityatva itself is Kutastha, means the eternality of Brahman cannot be shared. It is not that. For example, in the Judeo-Abrahamic religions, that is three religions, Judaism, Christianity and Islam, you have both God and the devil who are eternal. So devil is also eternal. God is also eternal. But here, now it is a different matter that God may win and devil may lose, and it might not be all the time the same thing. So that is why in Judaism to some extent and more so in Christianity and Islam, exorcism is a big spiritual practice. It's actually practiced, and priests are taught exorcism. In Christianity at least, there are courses given by church where you have to learn exorcism. What is exorcism? Driving away ghosts. So you learn it and then you also get a license kind of thing. You are acknowledged by the church that you can practice exorcism and you actually practice exorcism. Why? Because according to that belief system, both God and devil are eternal. So the eternality of things or eternality is shared between God and devil. Whereas here we are not talking about this. Here the ultimate principle is Brahman and Kutastha Nityam is the Nityatva, eternality of this immutability. So eternality cannot be immutable. It is immutable. Sorry, eternality cannot be mutable. It is immutable. Eternality of Brahman is immutable. It cannot be shared. So that is the ultimate eternal. Paramarthikam, it is the ultimate principle. There is no principle. So basically we are saying the same thing. The moment you say absolute, it automatically means that it is the only thing which is eternal. Then Vyomavad. It is like Vyoma. What is Vyoma? Sky. It is like sky or space. Vyoma means space also. So it's like space means what? It is vast. The vastness of the thing. So how can Brahman cannot be vast? Because for the simple reason that Brahman is beyond space. But how can we get this idea that Brahman is beyond space? When we say that, we don't get any mental conception of that thing. And that is why Sri Ramakrishna also says that there are many people who make it a sadhana or spiritual practice to actually go in front of the ocean and stand and see the vastness of ocean, or look above and look at the sky, or look at some huge like mountains, etc. Because it gives you an idea of the all-pervasiveness of Brahman. That is the idea. But sky is also finite. And finite in that sense from the perspective of Brahman. Now you may say we have not seen the borders of space. That is true. But the sky has borders. The sky which we see is well within Earth, right? It is within the atmosphere of Earth. So that has got borders. Space doesn't have borders, correct. But physically we might not have seen. But logically, speaking from the perspective of Brahman, it definitely is something which is finite. But even then, the vast expanse of sky, which for the naked eye, to the naked eye, we cannot see the limits of sky. And so it gives us an inkling, an idea, a glimpse of what all pervasiveness of Brahman could be. So that is why this Vyomavat, so it is like the space. Sarva Vyapi, it is all pervasive. Sarva Vikriya Rahitam, and it is free from all modifications. Vikriya means modification. So there is no modification. Anything that is ignorance, in ignorance modifies. Anything that you see in ignorance is modified. Okay. Again, to come back to the example, much used example of the cinema screen and the cinema. So the movie modifies, you see, because the movie is what? Actually, it's an illusion. Movie is an illusion. Movie is a play of light, nothing more than that. It's a play of light brought about by science. So some optics, something you use, and then you use some what you call, you put the light on particular reel, etc., and it is showing anyway. So it's basically a play of light. Now if you watch it through projector also, there also it is again a play of light. So what you are seeing is basically not there. It's only light which is there. There is, suppose you see some big house, that house is not actually there. It's only the light which is there. So it is a kind of illusion to some extent. Okay, and that is what is modified. The screen, which is constant, is never modified. See? So actually it is very so close to the reality of Brahman and universe. Universe is an illusion, and so it is modified. It gets modified, so many changes, etc. But the substratum, the basis of this universe, Brahman, is not modified. Were that Brahman modified, it would not be possible to see this universe. Just like if your screen is damaged, you cannot see the movie. So the very fact that this universe you are able to see is a proof actually that Brahman exists. Just like if there should be a car, suppose you are seeing a car which is moving. Now that car can move on road, or say science fiction or something, it can move on space also, air. But if you see something moving, that means there is a basis of friction for that movement. Without friction, nothing can move. So that means even in this air which we are making so much of, there is friction. And that is why in space, when there is no friction, you have to artificially create one. You see? Otherwise, it will not move. So you have to create something. And then when you create it and put it in orbit, then it is moving in that orbit continuously. So something like that. Because of something which you have created. So there Vikriya is there. Wherever illusion is there, wherever ignorance is there, there modification is there. And your true nature is bereft of, devoid of ignorance. It is what actual knowledge is. There is no modification. Not any kind of modification is there. Nitya Triptam. And also, it is self-content, eternally content or eternally content, eternally satisfied. Why is it satisfied? Why is your true nature eternally satisfied? Because there is nothing to satisfy it. See, the whole idea of contentment or satisfaction comes when there is somebody who needs to be satisfied, and there is something with which you can satisfy. So it is basically a play of mind. Without mind, you cannot have any scope of satisfaction. So, Brahman, your true nature is beyond mind. Even senses, suppose there are senses. That is why if your mind is in problem, you cannot be satisfied. So, psychologically unstable people cannot be satisfied. Why? Because the problem is with the mind. Now you see, not only that, when you become psychologically stressed, even then it is difficult to be satisfied. Now this is something which we see all the time. Suppose somebody is giving you a tea, cup of coffee, and then you say, "Look, coffee is not good. What is this? What kind of coffee? I mean, I don't like this coffee. What kind of is it? Even coffee?" But incidentally, that is the same cup of coffee that person is giving you for so many years, or you are drinking the same cup of same coffee. There is no change. But what has happened today? That you have become irritable. Something has annoyed you. So the same thing which you used to drink and which used to satisfy you is not satisfying you now because you are not psychologically stable. You're psychologically upset. And because you're upset, this is not satisfying you. So in reality, contentment has to do only with mind. It's only with mind. So that is why some people are easily satisfied, some people are not easily satisfied. And there are times, sometimes you are satisfied, sometimes you're not satisfied. And suppose, for example, again, it's a mental thing. You have a bank balance of, say, 10 crores of rupees. Okay. Then okay, 50 crores rupees. Why make it less? So then you get, somebody tells you, okay, I will give you 10,000 rupees. You're not satisfied. But earlier, when you didn't have so much money, when you had only 5 lakhs of rupees in your bank, then somebody gave you 500 rupees. It was a great thing. But now, since you have 50 crores of rupees in your bank, or you have so much of money, somebody is giving 10,000, you don't care, you don't bother. So you see, it's all a mental perspective. And because in your true nature, mind is not there, because you are not the mind, so you cannot be satisfied. So this is Nitya Tripta. You cannot be satisfied means what? You are always satisfied. And why is it shown like that? Why do scriptures talk like this? This is not Shankaracharya's own thing. This has been quoted in, so told in many scriptures. Why so? The point is, you see, unless you give some kind of a reward for this whole study of Brahma Sutras, etc., why would somebody study Brahma Sutra? It's not. So the reward is this, that now you are running after things to get yourself satisfied, but this thing is always satisfied, eternally satisfied. So when you hear that, oh, is it so? That means there is a path following which I can become Nitya Tripta. I can become free from all dukkha's, atyantika dukkha nivritti, complete cessation of miseries. Then niravayavam. Niravayavam means nih avayavam. Nih avayavam means which does not have any parts. It does not have any parts. It is partless. So it is not that you touch my hand, okay, my hand is touched, but my head is not touched, my leg is not touched. But with Brahman, it is not like that. You touch Brahman, you touch Brahman. There is no head, leg, nothing. Why? Because there is no space. Brahman is beyond space. When there is no space, how can there be part? And it is absolute. So, and it's also all pervasive. So, it has got no parts. Then, Swayam Jyoti Swabhava. It is self-luminous. Means what? It does not depend on anybody or anything to give it light. It is self-luminous. Even the lighting system which we use, though it gives light, but it depends on electricity for that light, right? But sun depends on what for light? It depends on nothing for light. Sun is its own source of light. Similarly, Brahman is self-numinous means it is not like, why is this again told? Many times you will see, because it is not that when you are, suppose electricity goes away. Oh, there is one very famous thing. I don't know whether you have heard it. There is this situation. Okay. So I want you to answer this also. So there is this situation where you are in a room which is quite dark, and suddenly, means electricity fails, and suddenly the room goes dark. Okay. And there is a cupboard, hmm, where there is a matchbox, there is a torch, and there is a candle. Now, what will you take first?
Torch.
What will you take first?
Torch.
No, our
Maitri.
Maitri. What will you take first?
Torch.
Torch. Now, as it so happens, you will not take torch or anything. Whatever comes to you first, that you will take. Because it is
Yeah, that.
dark. How do you know where is torch and what is this? Anyway, this is a kind of puzzle. So, what I was telling is, so similarly, when you want to find something, so you put on torch light or some light, and then you search that thing, right? But when you want to find Brahman, you don't need to do that, because it is self-revealing. It is self-luminous and so self-revealing. So you don't need something to find it. That is why the process of sadhana is essentially negative. It is removing ignorance. It is removing darkness. Huh? You don't, so there is a diamond, and on which there is cow dung. Now, I think these things would have happened in those days. That's why these examples we find a lot. So somebody might have gone and they saw some diamond, etc. So the glint of the diamond caught that person's eye, and then he removed the cow dung and saw this diamond. Like that, when you do mining, a person can understand even a golden ore or something, you can find, and then you take it, then you do that purification process, metallurgical process, and then you get out, means you come out with gold. But when you see gold in ore form, it is not so clean or anything. If people are shown that, they will not even think of wearing it as an ornament or jewelry. But then you have to purify it. So a person sees, oh, there is gold because of the glint. Okay. Similarly, so many minerals in the rocks, etc. People, geologists who are trained, they can see the glint and they can understand. So what are you uncovering? You are uncovering the filth. You are uncovering the impurities, dirt, and you are not giving any luster or sparkle to gold. It is already there. All you are doing is you are removing the filth. Hmm. So when you see ignorance, what is necessary is to just remove the ignorance. Now, why that ignorance came, that is not a question the Vedantin asks. Swamiji also talks about that in his paper on Hinduism and elsewhere also. In paper on Hinduism which he gave before the World's Parliament of Religions in Chicago in 1893, he talks about this ignorance. So ignorance is not a problem for Vedantins. Why? Because we are not bothered about that. We are not concerned about that. Because as Sri Ramakrishna also gives an example, there is a cave, say there is a cave, dark cave, and you go there and it is completely dark. Now, whether you will sit on a discussion that since when this cave is dark, or will you just light a match? The easiest thing is to light a match, because then you will know that the cave's darkness will go away. No matter since when it was dark, that is immaterial. Similarly, ignorance is immaterial, but ignorance has to be removed. And how will you remove? By understanding that there is something which is beyond ignorance, which is your true nature. And so that is why it is again and again told that it is Swayam Jyotihi. It is not that you have to go in search of Brahman, or that you have to put some light on it and you have to try, like if some other object is lost, but it will self-reflective, self-luminous. It will automatically show that I am there. What you have to do is you are seeing it through your mind. And so mind has to be purified. That is why Sri Ramakrishna says, Shuddhaman is purified mind and Atma or this thing are same. Why? Because if a mind is purified, just like crystal water will show you the base or the bottom you can see. So what you have to remove is remove the impurities. And yatra dharma adharmo saha karyena kalatrayam cha na upavartate. So in this place, that is in your true nature, which is unembodied, as we saw in the previous paragraph, which has got no body, and which is like this Brahman, or which is the state which you attain after you attain moksha. So there, dharma, adharma, both these things, results of actions performed according to the Vedic injunctions, they are dharma. Results of actions which are performed against Vedic injunctions, they are adharma. Okay, so the adharma and dharma saha karyena kalatrayam na cha upavartate. So there, these two things, karyena saha means along with the result. Dharma, if you do actions according to Vedic injunction, dharma. If you do actions against Vedic injunction, adharma. So those things and their results can never be there. Upavartete. Upavartete. They can never be there. Upavartete means, upa means near. Near this state, it can never go. Kalatrayena means in three times. What are three times? Past tense, past, present, and future. In the past, that is Bhuta and Vartamana and Bhavishyat. So, in these three states of time, it can never be there. That means what is told is it can never be, because this is the nature of your true nature, Brahman or unembodied state. In that state, nowhere near that state. It is a matter of saying. What is meant is that it is impossible that in that state you can have action. So, this is what is being told here. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.